Welcome back, friends, to another exciting journey into the world of coins. Today, we'll be talking about a coin that nearly every American has held in their hand at some point, but one that carries layers of design, history, and collectible value that make it far more than just spare change. The 1972 1-cent USA coin, also known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent. On the surface, it looks like any other penny you might find in your pocket or couch cushions. But dig a little deeper and you'll discover fascinating details that can turn this everyday coin into a collectible worth much more than face value. Let's begin with the design of the 1972 penny. On the obverse side, we find the famous bust of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, designed by Victor David Brenner. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and it has been one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Lincoln's image faces to the right, with the word Liberty to the left and the year 1972 to the right. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto, "In God We Trust," which has been part of the coin since its debut. If your coin has a small letter beneath the date, it identifies the mint where it was struck. For 1972, you'll most commonly see no mint mark, which indicates the Philadelphia Mint, or a D for Denver. San Francisco struck proof coins with an S, mint mark for collectors. On the reverse side, the design showcases the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparro. This reverse had replaced the earlier wheat ears design in 1959, in honor of the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The memorial design is elegant and symbolic, with Lincoln's seated statue actually visible inside the monument if you look closely with a magnifying glass. At the top, the words United States of America arc across the rim, with the motto E pluribus, UNUM, just below. At the bottom, in bold lettering, is the denomination 1 cent. This combination of obverse and reverse makes the 1972 penny one of the most recognizable coins in circulation during that era. Now let's turn to mintage and composition. In 1972, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 2.9 billion pennies, while Denver produced more than 2.6 billion, and San Francisco contributed around 3.2 million proofs. That adds up to more than 5 billion Lincoln cents minted in total for that year, making the 1972 penny a very common coin. By this time, the coin was still made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a plain edge. This composition remained standard until 1982, when the mint switched to copper-plated zinc to save money as copper prices rose. With such massive numbers produced, most 1972 pennies you'll find are only worth face value. But here's where things get exciting. The 1972 penny has one of the most famous double die varieties in all of us coinage. The 1972 Double Die Obverse variety shows strong doubling in the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date 1972 itself. These doubled letters are very clear to the naked eye, making this variety easier to spot than many others. Only about 20,000 examples of this error were released into circulation before the mint caught the mistake, making it rare and highly collectible today. If you're lucky enough to find a 1972 double die penny, its value can be significant. Circulated examples might sell for around $100 to $200, while uncirculated examples can easily fetch $500 to $1,000. The finest graded specimens have sold for several $1,000s at auction. In contrast, regular 1972 pennies in circulated condition are only worth 1 cent, though uncirculated red examples can be worth $1 to $10, and high-grade specimens graded MS-66 or MS-67 can sometimes sell for $50 to $200. Proof coins from San Francisco, especially those with cameo or deep cameo finishes, are also desirable, typically selling for $5 to $50 depending on quality. Now, let's place the 1972 penny in historical context. The early 1970s were a time of great change in America. Richard Nixon was president, the Vietnam War was still ongoing, and the country was experiencing both political tension and cultural transformation. 1972 was the year of Nixon's famous visit to China, a move that reshaped global relations. Domestically, the Watergate scandal began to emerge, though it would not fully unfold until later in the decade. The economy was starting to face inflationary pressures, and gas prices would soon rise sharply. Meanwhile, American pop culture was thriving, with movies like The Godfather hitting theaters, and music from artists like Led Zeppelin, Stevie Wonder, and the Rolling Stones dominating the charts. Holding a 1972 penny in your pocket during that era meant living in a world on the edge of both uncertainty and new opportunities. So, what should you do if you come across a 1972 penny today? The first step is always to check its condition. Bright red coins with little or no wear are far more valuable than dull brown ones. The second step is to look closely for errors, especially the double die obverse. Even a worn example of this variety is worth many times face value. If you think you have a rare variety or a high-grade coin, it's best to send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification gives buyers confidence in the authenticity and condition of the coin, which can dramatically increase its value. When it comes to selling your 1972 penny, you have several options. Local coin shops may buy them, especially if they are rare varieties. Online platforms like eBay allow you to reach a wider audience, but make sure to provide clear photos and descriptions. Coin shows and auctions are also excellent places to sell, especially if you have a double die penny or a high-grade example that will attract serious collectors. The 1972 1-cent coin is a fascinating piece because it sits at the crossroads of common circulation and rare variety collecting. For billions of people, it was just a penny spent on candy, bubblegum, or gas station change. But for a lucky few, that same coin could hold a double die error worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. That's the magic of coin collecting. You never know when the most ordinary object might turn into something extraordinary. So the next time you come across a penny from 1972, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. Check for doubling. Admire the artistry of Brenner's portrait and Gasparro's memorial. And remember the stories this little coin carries from its era. It's a reminder that history isn't always locked in textbooks. It can be found jingling in your pocket. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1972 Lincoln cent, make sure to like this video, share it with your fellow coin enthusiasts, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story from the fascinating world of coins.